Agenda for the workshop, which starts with Agenda Bill 14-181, Waste Management Increases in Fees for the Processing of Compostables.
Okay. Well, this was brought to my attention on last week. I'm not sure. Did we meet on Wednesday? You on Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. And I was told by Councilmember Cave that this was going to be held off until, actually the rate was not going to be put in force today, and that it was going to wait until the negotiations were complete on the contract. Is that correct?
That's my recommendation.
And I haven't heard from Laura. I tried to reach out to her to see, if she could speak to it, and she was on vacation after she met with you guys. She left town, and she's not back until tomorrow. So I would say for now, table it, and we bring it back with the negotiations when the committee does bring it back.
So your suggestion is we just eat the 27 cents per can until...
We're not eating anything. Okay. We're under contract with Waste Management, and the more I researched it, finding out that the reason they're coming to us and it requires a council vote to approve is because it's outside of the automatic increases that they're allowed to take within the contract, and so they need our approval to increase it. And so there's some other municipalities that are saying no, and it's going to be factored into our new rates whenever we negotiate the new contract, and they can wait for them. That's my recommendation, is that we wait for them. Maybe Spence got some more information on it.
All right, I have to reinforce what Vic is saying, that there's a number of cities that are not accepting this, and when I questioned Waste Management, I got the answer. It was kind of tongue-in-cheek thing. So, the statement was made to be, you do not have to approve. Okay.
It won't affect our negotiations in any way.
Has the city attorney looked into that issue now?
Well, she had looked into the whole picture. As far as this part, she just wanted it, the rate was going to be enforced, that we had to codify it. That was the thing she talked about. And once, the original plan was we were going to have Laura come, and I think we were going to do a special meeting and have it passed if indeed it did go into effect today. But because what I was told on Wednesday when they had their meeting, the council members, Tiger and Cave, that I didn't have to worry about it because it was going to not be enforced. That's my understanding, and so that's why, I think it's going to be tabled for now. I will reach out to Laura just to make sure we get it on record, and I have some kind of writing or, something that we can put in our file.
I mean, it may be necessary for us to vote on whether to do the increase or not. And if we want to vote on that, I know I'm probably going to vote no on it, and it would be my recommendation that all council members vote no on it, and that we could be on the record as saying we reject the increase, and that we'll address it during negotiations.
We could possibly maybe put a little more insight on this by next Monday's meeting night. Something may happen during this week. I just can't answer that.
Okay. Any other council discussion? All right. So we will consider that tabled for now. Next item on the agenda, top here, ordinance 2014-1883, accepting a grant from Walmart Foundation in the amount of $500 for Stone Soup and Youth Program after-school snacks.
And Dorothy is not here to all speak on her agenda item there. She applied for a $500 or a grant from the Walmart Foundation for Stone Soup and the youth program after-school snacks, and they have awarded us a $500 grant. This ordinance is to accept that grant.
Council discussion? Move it forward. Let's move that forward. Resolution 2014-219, setting the date and time for public hearing on December 22nd, 2014 at approximately 6:30 p.m. to take public comment for the establishment of the City of Pacific's water conservation goals.
Good evening, Council. The resolution and the action tonight is just that, to set a public hearing, which is a state regulation through the Department of Health that we establish as a water purveyor with more than 1,000 connections, that we establish water conservation goals. So this hearing will allow council and the public to comment on some of the goals that staff will present at that meeting. And that's the action tonight.
Council pleasure? Move that forward. Ordinance 2014-1884, approving and adopting the updated King County Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan approved by the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
You won't be mine.
Sorry, they're right.
Chair's going down.
The Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan is required by FEMA for an agency to submit reimbursements from a sub-event, and when this came up, all of the agencies in King County were required to do this. King County Emergency Management got a grant, and they did all the work. We had to attend meetings, but basically they submitted the plan through FEMA and it was approved. And once council approves it, we'll be a partner in the plan.
Council pleasure?
This is the mechanism that if we were to have, say, something that's declared a national disaster, we would be able to get reimbursed for the cost of our employees and our mutual aid services that we call in, that we would be on the hook for. Is that correct?
Correct.
Further council questions? Is there any financial obligation to this if we don't have an incident?
Well, there would be if we could, like Councilmember Cave said, if we had costs associated with a disaster and we don't belong to this, then we would have to eat those.
But if we join this and we don't have any incidents that we need reimbursement for, then there's no
No,
additional expense,
exactly.
remember?
Yes.
Council pleasure?
Move forward.
Thank you.
And ordinance 2014-1885, adopting the 2015 budget, first reading.
So you see on the cover, the agenda bill, it discusses the timeline, the meetings we met on October 22nd with a special council meeting for the budget workshop. The 27th and on the 10th we had presentations, and then as of today we had the last one. The mayor was presented with the proposed preliminary budget on October 1st, and then council was provided with full copies, including requests from the departments. On October 31st, the mayor provided council with her preliminary budget and budget message. We had a public hearing on the 27th of October on revenues. On the 6th, the preliminary budget as revised was available to the public. The public hearing was held on the 10th, and then today, the 1st, you need to have 2 hearings for the budget by state law. And I've provided you with probably more pages than you ever wanted to see. But the main part is the ordinance that shows you the fund balances and the total amount of the budget, which is a little over. Actually, with the adjustment to the 406 fund, it comes out to about $28,677,000, which will be on your council meeting packet. And also, when I present it to you for next week, there'll be a narrative, a small narrative at the beginning, and maybe a couple more. It'll be a smaller financial report for you, with a couple of more defining sections, such as what are the interfund transfers, things like that, because I think it's good for you to know that. You're the ones who determine what interfund transfers are allowed.
questions?
I think everything was covered pretty well in the multiple hearings and meetings we've had.
I think I have one question. We're calling this a first reading. Is there going to be a second reading?
That's next week. It's really, technically, most cities used to pass their budget or a lot of their ordinances by 2 readings. And now what's become is just the first reading is really the council workshop, and then it gets passed at what we call the second reading, which is really the council meeting where it's approved. So that's why it's called that.
Monday, the budget, if we approve it, that's the budget for next year.
It is, but you also have flexibility at any time during 2015 to add to it, change it, you know, as you see fit. And so it's nothing, I mean, as a finance person, I like to think this is it in stone, and let's be really smart in how we manage it, and frugal, and, you know, good stewards. But I can tell you this year, there are a couple areas we had to amend because we didn't have it in the budget when the year started. We didn't really know about it. That always happens. So, you know, we have nothing in there for the city hall, you know, improvement. Right now, there's very little in there for parks, but that could change. And so, but it's a place to start. It's a good place.
Further council questions? Council pleasure? All righty, let's move it forward. Can I ask a side question? Are you expecting a budget amendment sometime soon to take care of all those other things from this year?
Yeah, on the 15th, you'll get the first view of that. I don't really expect it to be as big as this. So, but there are some significant changes that need to be made this year for purchases. Just a few purchases, and then creating some of the funds too, and how that came about. So those will be documented and to you by, let's see, this Wednesday, is it Thursday, by the 10th? Actually, by the weekend of the 12th. So that's when you'll get that. If you'd like to be sure. I don't really have it put together, but I pretty much talk off my head what it means. Sure, I'll add that to the agenda.
Okay, that concludes our discussion agenda for tonight. Next item, we have an executive session list for collective bargaining for RCW 423144A. Do we have a time estimate for this?
Richard? Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Yes,
I'm hoping 20 minutes.
Okay.
It might go longer, but I'm hoping we can get it done.
And this being a workshop, there will be no action taken after that executive session.
Correct.
We'll be back in 20 minutes or so.